of adding a password. I think we should proceed, so to give you maximum time. So, dear devotees, thank you all for joining us. We're honored and blessed to be in association of His Grace Rohinipriya Prabhuji. Prabhuji spent so much time just this Friday discussing some questions and provided much more enlightenment as a result of his answers. So I think you were all present last week, so I won't go on and on about Prabhuji, but His Grace Rohinipriya Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj and Vice President of Iskcon Chowpathy, where he's serving so nicely in a very important role that is uplifting the entire world by giving everyone a wonderful association. It's not like the old days where you're in one temple and nobody else hears or sees you there. Due to the endeavors of all those devotees and with the leadership of Prabhuji, such nice preaching is going on across the world. So let's welcome Prabhuji very nicely with I know we're in Zoom, so a louder, quiet Haribol. Haribol.
Haribol.
Prabhuji was last week speaking to us from the Matsya Avatar pastime and emphasized Surit-priya. So a lot of emphasis on what is a true friend, and gave a wonderful quote that devotees like very much, which I wrote down, which is, friendship is a sweet responsibility and not an opportunity. So I think Prabhuji was going to expand on that lecture. Yes, Prabhuji, or
yes,
different topic?
It's the same topic.
Okay. So just in case we had some bandwidth issues, I guess Friday. So maybe if I'm the only one who's got the video on, so I'll turn it off so that challenge, and everybody can mute right now. Thank you. And then those of you just joined, those do, I think Shrikar and Tulsi were scheduled to sing Kirtan during Artik, but because Prabhuji's here, Prabhuji will take whatever time he feels is appropriate. And then you can, those that signed up, you can just chant subsequently. We'll keep the meeting going is what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so very much, Jai Satchidananda Prabhu. Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for letting me have this opportunity once again to speak on this relevant topic about friendships. One of the 5 important relationships, or primary relationships, that the living entity can have with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a relationship in friendship or Sakhyaras. In fact, any of the higher two rasas, whether it is Vatsalya or it is Madhurya, the element of Sakhya is present in both of these relationships. In the lower rasas of the five, so Sakhya obviously is like in the middle. So the other two rasas which are considered to be lower than Sakhya in terms of the mellows, the hierarchy of mellows, is Dasya and Shanta. And the element of Sakhya or friendship is very much subdued. Dasya is relationship in the mood of a servant, and Shanta is a relationship in the passive state. Obviously, in any kind of relationship, the constitutional relation or connection of the living entity with the Supreme Lord as being the servant of the Supreme Lord is always there. So Vatsalya is parental relationship and Madhurya is a relationship or the mellow of conjugal relationship. So these are the five primary rasas. And since we are discussing on the topic of friendship, definitely we would try to see most of the, or we would try to present most of our points during this discussion through the lens of friendship. That is how generally a didactic presentation is. So there is a certain topic on which one does research and tries to put forward one's presentation through the prism of that particular topic. So that is what I'm trying to do today. And I do realize that there could be various other perspectives too. There could be various other prisms too. So in my limited way, I'm trying to make this presentation. In today's times, a friendship, I mean, in a very humorous way, in a very light environment, light or humorous way. What would be a friendship? If someone would ask, what is a friendship in today's times? Typically, it would mean that if you walk into someone's house and you get free Wi-Fi, now that's good friendship because you're getting a free connection. That was supposed to be a joke. So because I don't have the audience, I cannot see the audience basically, so I cannot see your reaction. So it's in terms of, typically in terms of what do I benefit from in a relationship? What do I get in a relationship? That is the idea typically, and I'm not saying it is right or wrong. There is a need that, or there are needs that everyone has, and needs need to be addressed. So typically that would what one would think, that walk into a house, you get a free Wi-Fi, that means you're in a friend's house. Or if you have the password then to the Wi-Fi connection, then you're in a friend's house. When we refer to the scriptures or when we read from the scriptures, we find equal emphasis on the on the other perspectives that can be easily overlooked too, so as to balance the situation, to give that which is favorable and that which is unfavorable. Hence this quote, a sweet responsibility. Friendship is a sweet responsibility too, and not just a moment of opportunity, is relevant. As Jai Sachinandan Prabhu in the introduction, he said that the last week we were describing from the Srimad Bhagavatam how the Lord has been referred to as the dearmost friend and the best well-wisher of all the living entities. So the Lord is called as Sarvalokasya Ishvaraha. Just to once again remember that verse from the 8th canto, 24th chapter, verse number 52. Tvam sarvalokasya suhrit priyeshwaro hyatma gurur jnanam abhishta siddhi. Abhishta siddhi is the desired goal, or that which we really aspire for. Abhishta means that which is very, very dear to one, very, very close to one's heart. And siddhi means completion or achievement, or having finished the task. So abhishta siddhi for sarva loka, for sarva means all, loka means existence, for all existence, there is an underlying common thread in terms of a unique desire that each one has and expresses. And that desire is to be connected to the Supreme Lord in one's in our own unique way, to be intimately connected with the Supreme Lord and be able to once again express our wholehearted desire to serve, or wholeheartedly serve the Supreme Lord. So that is the common factor that binds every single living entity to Krishna in their own unique way, individual way. Now, for Krishna to be able to reciprocate with each one of our need, and the need is expressed uniquely, but however, the need is still to serve Krishna. So Krishna has to be the perfect recipient of service. And hence, the scriptures help us understand how he is the perfect recipient of service. If we have to serve our best well-wisher, the desire and the inclination and the enthusiasm to serve would be at its highest. If we have to serve our dearmost friend, or someone who's supremost, very much dear to us, then obviously the enthusiasm to serve that person would be at its highest. So Krishna being the Suhrit and Krishna being the Priya is very apt. Suhrit means the most well-wishing friend. Hrit means the heart, Hriday. That is Hrit. Su means extremely, superlative. So one who is very close to one's heart. The heart has to also symbolically or poetically, the heart refers to one's existence. So one who's very close to one's existence, or one who's very much needed for one's existence, that is a well-wisher. So Suhrit is this Sanskrit word to express the best well-wisher or the most well-wishing friend. And Priya, Priya itself is, it's a verb in itself, or it's an adjective in itself. The verbal root is the same. So Priya basically means, like in Suhrit, the verbal root is Ri. So in Priya, the verbal root is the same. So Priya means very dear or dearmost. So yes, Krishna is always fulfilling his part of the deal. He's always dealing with us as our most well-wishing and dearmost friend. Since we also have a relationship with Krishna, hence we must express uh, our emotions too, so that Krishna is also our dearmost friend. Krishna also, we are also wishing well for Krishna. We become Krishna's well-wisher too. And why not? Why wouldn't we as eternal beings want to wish well for the supreme most eternal being? It is perfectly uh, all right. There's no break of etiquette or breach of etiquette here. One can always wish well for another person. And to wish well for Krishna would be one of the best actions or best, one of the nicest way of expressing who we are. Because Krishna, by definition, is all attractive. So he's the Supreme Lord himself. But there's a problem. What is the problem? The problem is the way or the kind of environment that we have created within which we exist. And this is the environment of our heart. This is the environment of our fantasy world, the world that we want to live in. And this is guided by the principle of lust. The fantasy world that the majority of the living entities in this material creation would want to live in is the world which helps them fulfill their lust. That could be lust in the form of physical needs. It could be lust in the form of greed. It could be lust in the form of wanting to usurp others' properties and in this way trying to hurt all of them. So when we speak of lust, when lust is just spoken of by itself, it also includes greed, pride, envy, anger, and illusion, and all the other negative qualities. So this is called as Hridibaddha Kama. My dear Lord, although you are within the heart, the foolish, because of lusty desires in the heart, cannot understand you. Hridibaddha Kama. It's from the same verse. The last two lines of this verse, especially the last line, is that although the Lord is sitting within the heart of the living entity is bound by karma. The living entity has accepted a life of bondage, and that bondage is in the form of lusty desires for fame, prestige, desire to hurt someone else so that one could be the only enjoyer in the world, the desire to be on the top of the world so that no one else enjoys except me, or I get to choose who else enjoys along with me. These are the desires of the unfortunate, disillusioned living entity in this world. There is hope. There is always hope. Why is there hope? Because the attempts to try and enjoy in this format is always met with dissatisfaction. And the greatest hurdle that brings forth this dissatisfaction is in the form of time. Time steals away strength, memory, the ability to work, ultimately old age and death. Time does that to us. So there have been many a great, a very, how do you say, great lusty personalities who have gone to extreme attempts to try and overcome time, to try and control time, to try and undo the effects of time. Like Hiranyakashipu has been, we know him very well from the Srimad Bhagavatam, or the great Ravana, we know that person very well from the Bhagavatam. We know the person who wanted to, who served Lord Shiva and got the wish that if I place my hand on anyone's head, that head should crack into 1,000 pieces. So there are so many examples that help us understand that many powerful and extremely powerful and more qualified people in terms of material qualifications, they have done their bit to overcome the effect of time and have been proven to be extreme failures in their attempt. They have been proven to be like big time failures in this attempt. So to be able to overcome time is not easy. In fact, it seems to be a very difficult task. On the other hand, in the same Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that Dhruva Maharaj, as a young king who has finished his reign of almost 36,000 years over this entire planet, he climbs onto a very special plane by placing his foot on the head of time in the form of death. So time there becomes a stepping stone for Dhruv Maharaj to step onto this special plane that would bring him to the world of eternal existence, Vaikuntha. Very interesting. So there is a possibility to be free from the effect of time in terms of old age and death. However, baddha kamaha, being bound, it's like a person who has good intelligence, but the intelligence has been covered over by various other desires. So such a person would always say, I know, but what can I do? I do not have the strength to follow my convictions. I don't have the intelligence or the required enthusiasm to follow my convictions. And this is very unfortunate, because as spirit souls, as spiritual beings, we are we have extreme abilities to overcome the bindings of material nature. It is that is the default program within us. It's just that the hardware on which the software needs to work is not compliant. The software of being able to overcome material nature is working with a hardware that is not compliant. And so the software does not get installed on it. So lusty desires. Let me give you an example. Some of these examples are from the material realm, so I may kind of express, I may mention people having certain habits that we as devotees do not adopt at all. But just for the sake of explaining a particular point, we will give such examples. So there was a person who had who'd regularly go to a bar and have drinks. They have various intoxicating drinks in such places which are called as a bar. So he would sit at the bar table on a stool. Please don't ask me how I know that. The media is all pervading, so even I know about bar stools and bar tables from a distance. Hare Krishna. Yes. Okay. So sitting there, this person would come in and order 2 shots of whatever. He said, give me 2 shots of it. So after a few days of him being a regular customer, the bartender asked him that, why is it that you always ask for 2 shots of this drink? He says, well, I recently retired from the army, and I was very close. There was another person and we were good friends, another gentleman. And after retirement, I came back to this city, to this place, my hometown, and my friend is elsewhere. So before we parted off, as a commemoration or a remembrance of a friendship, we decided that every day we would go to the bar and we would drink to each other. So 1 shot is for me and the other glass is for my friend. It's as if I'm sitting with my friend and having a drink. After a couple of months, exactly 2 months after the customer coming in regularly, this particular evening, the veteran from the army ordered just 1 single shot. So the bartender was surprised. He said, everything is all right? Is your friend okay? Is he, I hope he's still alive, healthy, and your friendship is still rock solid. And the gentleman says, yes, everyone is safe and healthy and we are still good friends. So why have you just ordered 1 drink? He said, because I have given up drinking. My doctor told me that I have to give up drinking. So the bartender says, I don't understand this. So you have given up drinking, but you still are having 1 shot of this drink. He says, oh, that is for my friend. Since we had made this pact that as a mark of a friendship, I would drink 1 glass for myself and another glass on behalf of him, and he would be doing the same. Since I have given up drinking, so I drink on his behalf. The idea is there's always, or one always looks for opportunities to find loopholes such that one's desire to enjoy in this world can be met with. And hence, those who are not able to introspect on this, the scriptures refer to them as foolish people, andhadhi, those whose eyes of intelligence has become covered by the curtain of ignorance, andhadhi. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, we realize that there is the possibility for us to overcome our blindness, to treat our blindness, to overcome our ignorance. How is that? By letting the ears drink in the nectar of Krishna's glories, as how he is our Suhrit and our Priya. He is our most well-wishing friend and he is our dearmost friend. Now, when we say, when the scriptures say that Krishna is our dearmost friend and the most well-wishing friend, the idea that Krishna may be more inclined towards us may come in. This idea may be there, because that is how we find relationships in this world. If we say someone is dearmost to us, that means we are more inclined towards that person. Now, yes, philosophically, we can say that Krishna is God and therefore God is equal to everyone. Philosophically, we do say that. Now, for God to be equal to everyone and still be everyone's dearmost friend, is that contradictory? Or should we just accept that God is so powerful that all contradictions are resolved within him? Yes, as believers, as followers, that is the path that we will take, definitely. At the same time, we can also use our intelligence to analyze, to introspect. How is it that, what would be some qualities that would be needed for someone as great as Krishna to be equal to everyone and still be the dearmost friend of everyone? And this is beautifully expressed by Akrura in the 10th canto. In the 38th chapter of the 10th canto, Akrura has been sent by King Kansa to bring Krishna and Balaram in, to bring them to Mathura. And Kansa has a nefarious plan where he was hoping to put an end to Krishna and Balaram. So he sends Akrura to Vrindavan. Now, Kansa has already made it very clear that he is not very affectionate towards Krishna. So Akrura has known it for many years. Akrura is only favorably inclined towards Krishna and no one else. So Akrura is Krishna's devotee. And we find him in a strange situation that he is serving Kansa, who is the king of Mathura. Kansa is inimical to Krishna. So he's serving Kansa. Within his heart, he surrendered to Krishna. So typically, this could be a situation of many of us in this material world. We have to serve our senses to a certain extent. The eyes need some gratification. The sense of taste, the tongue needs gratification, and we may need to serve them. We may need to keep them healthy, which is like trying to serve a situation which is not very helpful for Krishna consciousness. The material world, although the material world is Krishna's external energy, it is not a healthy place to practice Krishna consciousness. The best place, or the only place worth practicing Krishna consciousness, is the spiritual realm, the spiritual world. So it is we are in a similar predicament, and hence the disposition of Akrura's heart or his mind is very helpful. So Akrura comes to Vrindavan, and he understands that Kansa has ulterior motives. Still, the conception, or just the understanding that he would be seeing Krishna and Balaram is so overwhelming that makes him forget what could happen if Krishna and Balaram come to Vrindavan. And this is also one of the ways that practicing devotees overcome the influence of the material challenges by diving into the ocean of remembrance of Krishna. When we dive into the ocean of remembrance of Krishna. So the impetus is needed for us to help us dive into that ocean. And for Akrura, that impetus was when he arrives on the shores of Vrindavan, so to say, when he arrives at the perimeter of Vrindavan, or the boundary that separates Vrindavan from Mathura, where he sees that signboard, "Welcome to Vrindavan," the town of Krishna. He sees that signboard. So that becomes an impetus. It becomes what is called as a Uddipan. This is a Sanskrit word. Uddipan means Uddipta. Dipta means to ignite, and Ut means that jumps forward or takes you to, that is what is called as ut, brings you there. So it brings him to that state of extreme attraction to Krishna. And Akrura starts analyzing his position, and he comes up with a series of prayers. And these prayers are so glorious that Akrura has been considered to be an acharya in this format of serving Krishna. This format of serving Krishna by remembering Krishna or offering Krishna very sincere prayers, by remembering Krishna through sincere prayers, is called as Vandanam. And Akrura, according to our Vaishnava acharyas, is the exemplification. He exemplifies, and hence is the acharya for this particular limb of bhakti. Just as Parikshit Maharaj is the acharya, or he is the perfect example for the limb of bhakti called as Shravanam, or perfection through the process of hearing. So Akrura is considered to be the perfect example of someone who achieved perfection through the process of offering sincere prayers or vandanam. So one of his prayers is relevant to our discussion of friendship today. And Akrura says, Natasya kashya dayata suhrittamo nacha priyo devsya upeksha evava tathapi bhaktan bhajate yatha tatha suradhramo yadvad upashritortha taha. Akrura literally is saying that, my dear Lord, Natasya kashid dveshya upekshya chapriya. How is it that Krishna can be one's dearmost friend and at the same time equal to all? This is because there is there are a couple of special qualities that Krishna has, which inherently make him equipoised towards all, and still he can be uniquely disposed to every single living entity. And Akrura says that is, the Supreme Lord does not consider anyone as apriyaha, dveshya, and upeksha. There is no one who's apriyaha for the Supreme Lord. So there is no possibility of Krishna considering someone to be disfavored or not an object of his favor. That's not, it's not in Krishna's nature. It's not in Krishna's existence. He does not have that kind of program at all within him or with him. It's impossible for Krishna to have a vision where he sees that, okay, I favor this person and I do not favor that person. That's very unfortunate. It's like the sun. The sun does not choose or cannot choose that I would give light to this person and I would not give light to the other person. I would provide heat to this person and I will not provide heat to the other person. It's not in the nature of the sun to do that. It's not possible for the sun to do that. The very existence of the sun negates the fact, or does not give that option to the sun, that the sun can discriminate between this and that while distributing heat and light. Similarly, the sun is just a material object in this material creation. Krishna is the source of millions and millions of suns. So for Krishna to be unfavorable towards anyone is impossible. And therefore, trying to be equal to all, one and all, or being equal to one and all is the way Krishna exists. It is not that he has to make an effort to be equal to one and all. That doesn't happen. It's just as the nature of the sun is to purify everything through the UV light. We know UV light purifies. So whether it's dahi, it's yogurt, or it's human waste, doesn't really matter. Ultraviolet light is going to affect both these objects similarly. It is going to purify both of them, the sun's rays. So, similarly, Krishna's connection with everyone is such that everyone receives Krishna's favor. Hence, Krishna being equal to all is not really surprising. It's not a topic to be discussed. It's not something that needs a lot of analysis. It's just the nature of Krishna to be equal to anyone. What else makes Krishna be equal to anyone? Na dveshya. Krishna cannot hate anyone. Unfortunate for him, or maybe fortunate for all of us. He cannot hate for anyone. I mean, he does not have that gene within him, or that mutation within him. The hate, the DNA material for hate is not there within Krishna's existence. He is free of it, and he can never be contaminated by that. He can never be diseased by it, infected by hate. He can never be infected. It's just his immunity to hate is so powerful that hate does not exist within eons of light years around him. It does not exist at all for him. So not dveshya. So because he does not hate anyone by his very existence, his being equal to everyone is quite natural. He does not have to make an effort to be equal to everyone. And upeksha, he cannot, by his very existence, by his very nature, he cannot neglect anyone. It's not possible. Just as a sun cannot neglect any object. Now, an object, now if I want to be away from the sun's rays, then I can bring forth my umbrella and put it above my head and say that, hey, I'm protected from the sun's rays. I don't need the sun's rays. That is up to me. I have that facility. And that is what happens to living entities in this material world when they bring forth the umbrella of separate desires from, or desires being separate from Krishna. That is their umbrella. Having the desire to enjoy separate from Krishna is the umbrella that makes them feel or makes them disillusioned that Krishna's rays of favor are not needed by me and are not reaching me. So the living entity creates a situation of hate and affection. For Krishna, that situation does not arise. The living entity creates a situation of being cared for and being neglected. For Krishna, that situation cannot arise because by nature, Krishna is adveshya, Krishna is aupekshya, and Krishna is apriyaha. Is not all of these things. Krishna is not apriyaha, Krishna is not upekshaha, and Krishna is not dveshyaha. Krishna cannot neglect anyone, Krishna cannot hate anyone, and Krishna cannot be unfavorable towards anyone. And therefore, when the scriptures say that Krishna is equal to one and all, the scriptures are not making a big revelation here. It's how Krishna is. On the other hand, tathapi bhaktan bhajate yatha tatha suradrumo yadvad upashritortadaha. On the other hand, the conception of Krishna being one's dearmost friend is the unexpected, is what is beyond what we expect. Krishna being equal to all is what we would expect Krishna to do. His being a dearmost friend, the most well-wishing friend in a very unique way with each one of us. Now that is worth discussion. That is what makes scriptural discussions so very vibrant. Hence, the Vedic scriptures they exhort one, they want to encourage every single reader and follower to try and meditate on how Krishna is uniquely disposed to each one of us, specially disposed towards me as a person. Having overcome the challenges of material dualities. As long as we are in material dualities, it's difficult, because material dualities make us feel that Krishna is favorable to one and unfavorable to another person. So first we overcome that through sense control, through sadhana, and having controlled it for a moment. Therefore, when we are sitting in a Bhagavatam class, it is encouraged that we forget all our material relationships and all kinds of material responsibilities we have, and just drink in that nectar. The idea is we become equipoised right there for that moment, so that in that moment of being equipoised, we are able to access what the scriptures describe as this greatness, this uniqueness of Krishna. He's reaching out to each one of us as our dearmost friend. We are all there sitting in a class. Krishna is reaching out to all of us in a very unique way. And to be able to access that or feel that or be moved by that is only possible when one is free of dualities. Hence, when there is a very good kirtan going on, that kirtan, the melody of the kirtan is very exciting. It frees us from everything else. We just get engrossed in it. And those who are experts, those who know the nuances of any practice, they take that moment to dive into meditating or hearing the holy names of the Lord, because that is the moment where we have broken through all that darkness of ignorance, and we are seeing light. We are equipoised. The material world for that moment does not exist. Hence, many of the great kirtaniyas of the present and of the past have always encouraged us that go beyond the melody. Once the melody hits us and we forget all our material connections, then use one's intelligence, use that moment, be aware of what is happening, be mindful, be thoughtful at that time, and dive deep into the holy names. At that point of time, go above and beyond the melody and dive into the holy names. Listen to the holy names of Krishna. So this aspect of Krishna's personality, of him being Suhrit and Priya, is like extreme. It's amazing. Last time I also was quoting from one of the Shubhashitas, one of the verses that have been passed down through generations as good moral principles. And the verse that I was quoting was about the qualities of a good friend. What is, if we consider a friend not to be just a person, but consider a friend to be a concept. A friend is a concept. Then what are the qualities that make up that concept? And the verse states, it is Suchitvam Tagita Shauryam Samanyam Sukha Dukkhayoha Dakshinya Yanchanuraktascha Satyatacha Sadgunaha. Suhrit Gunaha. Suhrit is a friend, and Suhrit Gunaha means the qualities of a friend. So if a friend is a concept, then what is this conception, this concept made up of? Purity, generosity, chivalry, being equipoised in happiness and distress, politeness, affection, and truthfulness. Now, these are all qualities that help us with good moral behavior. Yes. What is interesting is the way these instructions are given. Now, the way this instruction has been presented is, it is also called as the Hita Upadesh. An Upadesh, an instruction that is in our hit, that is for our benefit. Hita means benefit. So this is one of the Hita Upadeshas. The purport of this instruction is that we are not supposed to be looking out for another person who has all of these qualities. No, that is not what is needed. Although that is helpful, that could be the import of this verse. It can be taken up, but that import is very superficial. The deeper import of this instruction is that we cultivate all of these qualities in oneself. We make these qualities our friends, because these qualities are truly our friends. So Suhrit Guna could mean the qualities that a friend has, or Suhrit Guna could also mean these are the qualities that we should become friends with. And when we become friends with these qualities, what happens is that we attract like-minded people to be connected to us, to become our friends. So rather than go out and find friends who have these qualities, we become the abode of these qualities, so that like-minded people become attracted to us and we become attracted to like-minded people. So the emphasis is on self-improvement. And these are the essential qualities that help us attract good friends. When we are in the association of good people, it is easy to become equipoised, and when we are equipoised, we can break through that covering of ignorance and receive the wonderful illumination of Krishna's generosity, his favor. We can receive that for that moment. The last time I also mentioned that I would like to briefly explain through the example of or briefly explain through two instances that have been given in our scriptures. One is from the Mahabharata and the other is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. First, we'll come to the Srimad Bhagavatam, because I did speak a little bit about what was mentioned. Sorry, we'll come to the Mahabharata, because I did speak of what was there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the Mahabharata, the friendship of two people has been specifically spoken by Vyasadeva. He writes it down in the Mahabharata, or he dictates it to be written down in the Mahabharata. This is a friendship between Dronacharya and King Drupad. Dronacharya is a descendant of the great sage Gautama. So being a descendant of a great sage, and his father, who is himself Bharadwaj Muni, who is an extremely powerful sage. In fact, he is considered to be the spiritual master of so many dynasties of kings. There's an entire lineage that is dedicated to Bharadwaj Muni, who is out of the Gautama lineage. So anyways, Bharadwaj Muni's son is Drona. I think our Jai Sachinandan Prabhu, Dehradun there's some connection with Dehradun, you and your family. I think so.
Yes. Yes, I was born in Dehradun.
Yeah, so Dehradun is
ashram of Dronacharya.
Yes, and it is the birthplace of Dronacharya. Actually, this is the upper Brahmsh. This is how the name got contorted to Dehradun. It was supposed to be Dehra or Tehra, which basically means a cup, a stone. Tehri. Tehri Garhwal, it is known as. So stone, basically, stone or Pashan. And Drona. So it was supposed to be Dehra Drona, one who was born out of a stone cup. So that, and then now it's known as Dehradun. Drona has become Doon. Bless the English and the British, I guess, or whoever else did that. So Dronacharya was born, and he was born in a very exalted lineage by choice, by his own personal choice. He was born of a single father by some mystical means. So as soon as he was born, he exhibited the qualities of a great sage. So one aspect of his personality was that since his very birth, he wanted to live a life of extreme poverty. In other words, he wanted to be a free man and just be by himself. Not a homeless person. He wanted to be a free man. So he did not want to accumulate any wealth, any kind of commodities. Till the time he got married and he had a son. So growing up, he spent a lot of time in his father's ashram. His father had an ashram, a place where many young boys would come together and stay, and it was like a resident school or a gurukula. And in that ashram, the king of Panchaladesh, which is somewhere north west India, Panchaladesh, had sent his prince regent, whose name was Drupad. He had sent him to the same Gurukul. And the two boys became very close to each other. And Drupad was a highly emotional kind of person. So in great emotion, feeling very close to Drona at that point of time, he said that they made a vow in blood, like slice off their palm and hold it together and like that. A pact of in blood, written in blood, something like that, that we will stay friends forever. And as a mark of our friendship, when I inherit my kingdom, I offer half of my kingdom to you. Drone, because he had accepted a life of simplicity, he said, thank you very much. And he just let it be. Later on, he got married. The Bhishma Dev, he very much respected Drona, and he wanted Drona to be connected to the Kuru dynasty. So he had Dronacharya get married to Kripi, who is the sister of Kripacharya. Kripacharya was he was the son of the preceptor of the Kuru dynasty. So Kripi had to move out. According to those times, Kripi had to move out and stay with Dronacharya, and they lived in very simple life, which was of extreme poverty. Very soon they had a son. They named him Ashwathama. Ashwathama had a particular need, and Dronacharya felt that he was failing his duties as a father. And therefore, he goes to the kingdom of Drupad, King Drupad. Now, all he needs is that his son can have real milk to drink. His son was not getting real milk to drink. Recently, someone sent me a post on WhatsApp. An angel comes to God. So I think this is from the Christian theology, and says, God asks him, so what are they doing down there? And they said, God, they are making milk out of almonds. And God said, why? Haven't I given them sufficient animals that can provide milk? That now they have to make milk from almonds. So we have created a situation where we are allergic to that which is freely available or easily available. And now we have to reject that because we are lactose intolerant and try other means. Anyways, that's a joke. Dronacharya he is not able to give real milk to his son. So he feels that he's failing in his duties as a father. So he goes to the palace of King Drupad. And the first thing that he says, and the Mahabharata clearly states that he says, he is very happy to see his friend. His friend is sitting on a throne. His friend is there. He approaches the king as a friend and he says, "My dear friend, I have come to you as a friend, and you had promised me this. However, my desire is just limited." So first he says, "You have promised me this." Now Drupad, he feels offended by that statement, because by then Drupad has kind of grown up with this idea, or has this idea within him that he's a king. He is in a very superior position. And how can a king is not supposed to be friends with an ordinary poor Brahmana? So Drupad reciprocates in a way, or he kind of replies in a way that Dronacharya would never have anticipated or expected. Drupad becomes angry when Dronacharya reminds him that he had promised him half of the kingdom. And hence Drupad's initial remarks are that promises made at a young age are made in ignorance. And how can one take such promises seriously? So he feels offended that, and he says to Dronacharya that if you have come as a poor Brahmana, and as Brahmanas come with folded arms in front of kings and ask them to ask them for help, if you had come like that as a bhikshuk, then I would have definitely offered you my generosity. But since you're approaching me as an equal, I feel offended. Drupad's till the time Dronacharya did not feel the need to approach Drupad for something, he did not come to Drupad. At the same time, King Drupad felt that Dronacharya is he being an opportunist here? So situation has been created somehow or the other, where it seems that the friendship is no longer a sweet responsibility. Each friend is not feeling that, Dronacharya is not feeling that, or it does not appear. The Mahabharata is very concise, so we cannot easily understand their state of mind. But to us as readers, we do not find references which help us understand that Dronacharya is thinking in terms of being responsible as a friend towards Drupad. And Drupad is similarly not thinking in terms of being responsible as a friend towards Dronacharya. Dronacharya feels that Drupad can help him with fulfilling his duties as a father, and Drupad is feeling that Dronacharya has come to ask him for some benefit, so he should come as a bhikshuk. He should come and request rather than express that, oh, he is the owner of half of the kingdom. So this is very briefly, I would just stop here with this example, because very briefly it shows us that how certain friendships may seem to be a sweet relationship, but situations reveal that each person in that friendship could be an opportunist to a certain extent. On the other hand, the example of Krishna and Sudama from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, Sudama has been sent by his wife to seek favor. So it may seem that he has come as an opportunist too. However, when he interacts with Krishna, he forgets to ask Krishna for that favor. And after he leaves Krishna's palace, the Srimad Bhagavatam says that Sudama feels so grateful to Krishna. He feels that since Krishna is a Supreme Lord and is the Lord within my heart, he realized that I have come to him with a material desire. And the Lord is so kind that he did not want to make me feel uncomfortable. So he did not fulfill my desire. So although Sudama had come being asked by his wife to go to Krishna and ask for a favor, he forgot all about that. And he only felt the sweetness of being Krishna's friend. So when Krishna asked him was talking about the Gurukul days, Sudama and Krishna sat down the entire night and they talked about their Gurukul days. And that is what friends do. When it is a sweet relationship where they feel responsible to help each other be comfortable. And how did Krishna reciprocate? He also reciprocated as a sweet friend and not as an opportunist. Krishna could have, he could have said, or he could have done the obvious, like Sudama, dear friend, I know why you have come here. However, and I have already provided for you. I have given you a palace. Vishwakarma has done all of that. But Krishna also, being a friend, is not being opportunist here. He understands his responsibility. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this so very sweetly. He says, Krishna feels that all that Sudama had was borrowed chipped rice with him. And how he's going to pay back what he's borrowed? He has no means to do that. Now, for me to help Sudama with a palace and wealth, I can do that by my very means. I have those means. I need not borrow from anyone. So my reciprocation with Sudama is not on equal terms. I fall short. Sudama has offered me something that is much greater, whereas me offering him is insignificant in front of what Sudama has done. He has accepted, he has borrowed what is it called as when you borrow for someone? He has put himself in debt, whereas I cannot put myself in any. I cannot. I have the means to provide for everyone, and I can never experience being in debt. And now, because Krishna could not do anything which could match up to Sudama's offering, therefore he feels indebted to Sudama, and hence he does it incognito. That let me reciprocate with Sudama, but let me do it incognito because I feel ashamed not being able to reciprocate equally with Sudama. And here we see how each friend is performing their responsibility in a very sweet manner. So we have good examples to follow. We have understood how Krishna is sweet and dear most well-wishing friend. We have also understood that we have to make these wonderful qualities our friends, like purity and generosity and chivalry and truthfulness and affection. We have to make all of those qualities our friends so that we have like-minded people around us. And this is what Srila Prabhupada teaches us, basically. He teaches us that we have this society, which is called as a Krishna consciousness society or a Krishna conscious society, Iskcon society. And here we have the facility through book distribution, through arati, through kirtans, through deity worship, and so many other ways to develop wonderful qualities like purity and generosity and chivalry. And also through those very practices, we can also experience the grace that comes with the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Rohinipriya Prabhuji. Just an incredible lecture filled with so much sweetness, realization, appreciation. I was taking notes and I couldn't keep up with all the wonderful points you made. I really loved explanations from Akura's standpoint and how we can overcome our limitations, and the examples through Mahabharata and Bhagavatam of what friendship is, or two ways to look at friendship. So I really liked your one statement you made about how, since Lord Krishna is Recipient Ishvara and our most well-wisher, and since we have a relationship with Lord Krishna, so it's a natural manifestation for our relationship to be a well-wisher for Lord Krishna. That was such a nice way to express how we can cultivate always being servant, but also this appreciation of who he is. So thank you very much for sharing all this wonderful instructions and examples. And I just loved the lecture. Thank you so much. Would anybody else like to ask questions, comments? We can have kirtan afterwards.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have a question, Prabhuji. Can I ask?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanyavad Pranam Jai Shri Prabhu. Thank you so much for wonderful explanations. So, Prabhuji, you have given two examples, one from Bhagavatam and one from Mahabharata. So, in case of actually, I can understand the Sudama and the Krishna relationship. It's so sweet. Regarding Drona and Dronacharya and Drupada, Prabhuji, see, Prabhuji, from Drona's, if we think about Drona's point of view, he's right, right, Prabhuji, because when he knows him as his close friend, when in his childhood, he came as his friend. Nothing wrong in that actually, because when he knows him very well and they're very best friends, he cannot come in front of him as a unknown person. I mean, who he doesn't really know all these days. So his point of view is right. In case of Drupada, I don't know, because he must be proud, and he's thinking that if you are expecting, he's thinking that he's expecting something from him. So that's why he came. So in that case, he should have come not as a friend, but as a poor Brahmana who is requesting something from the king. So Prabhuji, when we are actually, if I see both of them, then every Drona's side he is right, and Drupada says he must be right. So in same thing happens in case of relationships with devotees also, especially with the devotees. Actually, if some issues comes up, Prabhuji, they think that they're right, and I think that I am right. Maybe if I take my case, so how do we actually? Solve these kinds of situations, Prabhuji. It's natural that everybody thinks that they are right. Devotees are not an exception. So how to maintain, nice relationships, solving these kinds of problems?
Many times when similar questions as the one that you've asked come up, many speakers, they give the example of how Srila Prabhupada once dealt with a situation like that. This was in Prayag and India, Allahabad. So it must be during the Kumbh times, Kumbh Mela. So two devotees come up to Prabhupada. Actually, there is only Tamal Krishna Maharaj that comes up to Prabhupada. And he says that there are two devotees that have two viewpoints. I would not be taking names, but these are amongst the first devotees that got initiated by Srila Prabhupada. So one devotee was saying that amongst Balaram and Srimati Radharani, one was saying that Balaram is more powerful, and the other is saying Srimati Radharani is more powerful. And so the devotee was saying that Balaram is more powerful, said that, well, Balaram is more powerful because if you see, if you look at our temple in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram temple, then Krishna is resting his arms on the shoulder of Balaram, and therefore Balaram is supporting him. And the idea was that Balaram is the support for everything. So Balaram is powerful. And the other devotee was saying that Srimati Radharani is more powerful. So when Prabhupada heard that the devotee is saying that Balaram is more powerful, Prabhupada said, yes, that devotee is right. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he gave the other devotee's perspective, that Radharani is more powerful because if Radharani says yes, then Krishna cannot refuse. So Radharani is more powerful. And when Prabhupada heard that, Prabhupada said, yes, that devotee is right. So then Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, how can both of them be right? Prabhupada says, yes, you are right too. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj says, so what should be done? Prabhupada says, you decide. So when it comes to, in simple words, the answer would be that we have to come together to decide how we are going to address such issues. If we expect that always there should be a judiciary and a judicial system, and that does that, then there would be the idea of cops and robbers. That principle could percolate in society, offensive and defensive. If we could come together with every community should come together and realize that, every relationship, especially in this material world, would have friction. So when such frictions happen, what would be the best way to go forward? And there are so many techniques of conflict resolution that are explained in the material realm, and we can use any of those techniques. So briefly, Prabhupada, taking cue from what Prabhupada said, I would follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada and say, you decide. Because you are right too. It does happen that such issues exist in all communities. So as mature people, as people who feel responsible towards the well-being of that community, let us come and decide what is the best way forward. We could take help of whatever tools are available in terms of conflict resolution tools. We could try and use the Vanchakalpa technique, You know what is the Vanchakalpa technique? Vanchakalpa technique means fold your arms like this. Bow down on your fives, like 5 points touching the head, 2 arms, 2 legs. The Panchang or the Shashtang, 8 points touching the ground, and seek forgiveness. And hopefully even mentally we are doing that. Whichever works. So as responsible members of the community, responsible members of being responsible towards our own family and whatever the needs of the family are. Day before yesterday, I was trying to make this point that sometimes when you speak about good Vaishnava relationships, it seems that we can make good relationships with everyone equally. And that idea should it should be revisited. It should be understood in a very special way. We can have a relationship with all devotees who are there in the community. At the same time, we should realize that there would always be a few who are closer to us and few who are not. For example, in our community, we have certain restrictions, like only who can interact with whom, especially unmarried males and unmarried females. There are certain, I'm just trying to put forward a point. So they may be devotees and as devotees, you're supposed to have very good relationship with each other. But then the community suggests that no, because this is a male body, this is a female body, hence limit that. So already we are trying to, what we are practicing is specific ways of this universal or this universalism that, devotee relationship means with all devotees we should have good relationship. No, even on a practical levels, we kind of discriminate. As I said, male body, female body, so there are certain guidelines for that. So similarly, we should realize that we may be of the same gender, or we may be, speaking the same language. Doesn't mean that just because we speak the same language or we do not speak the same language, it doesn't mean that that could decide how tightly knit we are, or to what extent our friendship, the intimacy of the friendship is. So let us be real people, understand that emotions have a way of connecting with each other. Emotions kind of make us feel close to someone and closer to someone and very much closer to another person. So there are going to be distinctions like that. Srila Prabhupada, I'm not remembering where, but somewhere in his purport, he says that in the spiritual world, there is perfect, more perfect, most perfect. Now, the idea of superlative or comparative imperfection seems to be contradictory. It seems to be paradoxical. However, that is not true. So perfection is what perfection means: liberation from this material world. So please, you decide. And there's always going to be some differences. There's always going to be different flavors. Let me put it like this: rather than differences, there's going to be different flavors. So if devotee relationships, or if relationships with different devotees is like an ice cream shop, so you go and ask for the flavor that you want. If you want vanilla flavor, then that is what you ask for, and that devotee connects with you. If you strawberry flavors, and that is what you ask for, and it is perfectly all right. At the same time, you respect all the flavors that are there. You don't demand that, hey, I like strawberry flavor, so all the other ice cream flavors should be removed. No. There is respect for all, and there is a few with whom we are close, few others with whom we are closer, few others with whom we are much closer, few others with whom we are very, very close. So those exist. So based on that, then we can address issues of conflict. Is that helpful?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is there anything else?
Any questions or comments?
So I think that is all. So thank you very much. And I'm really sorry for extending into the Kirtan time of the children. I really love all the children so much, and it pains me when I take away their time. So I beg forgiveness from the children who were supposed to lead Kirtan during Aarti. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be able to address all of you and serve all of you. And I pray that all of you kindly bless me to serve Srila Prabhupada lifetime after lifetime. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Rohinipriya Prabhuji ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhuji, your lecture was kirtan for us as well.
Thank you so much.
Absorbed in hearing the beauty of Bhagavatam, the glorious nature of Lord Krishna. Maybe next time that you come and COVID is hopefully more suppressed, this is such an important topic and so wonderfully explained. it would be wonderful to have, a seminar and something like this, some topics like this. I know we talked about it before, many years ago. So, but I know you're busy, but maybe you can consider that later at your own convenience. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry we can't serve you personally at the temple, but I know devotees are doing their best to do so. So at this point, unless if somebody has questions, we can have, I think Shrikar was going to sing Arti Kirtan, and then Tulsi was going to sing Nrsimhadev prayer, and Narottam will ask, we can have that occur. Of course, the Arti is already done, but that's okay. Narottam will ask, Prabhu, would you like to show deity photos from this morning? Thank you. He's right on top of it. Shrikar, would you like to go ahead and start with your kirtan? And then we maybe after 10 minutes or so, if that's okay with you, we can transition to Tulsi leading Nrsimha prayers, okay?
Sure, Prabhuji.
Thank you.